Hey guys, All in Crypto here, and welcome back, ladies and gentlemen, for another YouTube video. Today we have a slightly different video lined up. We're going to be talking about the Bank of England, and this is breaking news. This news came out today. The Bank of England essentially have published a consultation paper surrounding their CBDC, the digital pound, and we're going to be covering that in this video. We're very much moving towards a George Orwellian society, which involves the governments in sort of partnership with the banks, having complete control over pretty much every aspect of your life. And this has been, there's been a real continuous push towards this. And I believe that actually blockchain and CBDCs are a massive part, certainly from a financial surveillance point of view, in achieving this goal. It's my belief that humanity, certainly in the Western world, is way too dependent on governments. And I really like to take a step back and go, how did we end up in this situation in the first place? And for that, you really need to look at history. But this is not a video on that and my own personal beliefs. This is just more a video covering what the Bank of England have literally published today, what it means, what it is, and why you should care about it. And actually, there is a response section. They've also published something recently that's about it involves digital identities. And I'm not going to bring that up. I'll probably do a separate video on that because I think the deadline to respond to that, whether it matters or not is still to be seen, is the March sometime. But the deadline to actually respond for this is the 7th of June. So if you feel any kind of a way about it, respond to the consultation paper. Feel free. It's almost like a call to arms, not a call to arms, a call to action in terms of, responding to this and maybe expressing any concerns that you do have. Whether it does anything or it doesn't is still to be seen. So guys, I'm going to go ahead and get rid of my face, and then we're going to read through this article and also the actual paper itself, or cover some of the main talking points, and then I'm going to love and leave you. So today, the Bank of England published the digital pound, a new form of money for households and businesses. This is the consultation paper, published on the 5th of February 2023. Overview, a Bank of England and HM Treasury publication. So Her Majesty's Treasury. Is it Her Majesty anymore? I don't know if that's still the case. Anyway, neither here nor there. So the way we use money is changing. This consultation paper sets out our assessment of the case for a retail central bank digital currency, CBDC, a so-called digital pound. It's been overseen by the Joint Bank HM Treasury CBDC Task Force that was announced in April 2021. So we covered this. We've been covering this the whole way through, and we actually covered that they were going to release this paper in the first quarter of this year. We didn't know it would be on the 7th of February, but here we are. And we're going to continue to cover this, as this is a situation that's going to impact certainly everybody in the UK, but it's not just the UK government that are doing this. In China, we see yuan, and that's already launched, and I think they've had 100 billion potentially in volume go through that. We're also seeing it in Canada, we're seeing it in the United States, we're seeing it across the board, guys. CBDCs are coming for us all. Whether that's a good or a bad thing is up for you guys to make your own mind up on. I'm just sort of covering what's happening. And actually, one reason that I'm such a blockchain enthusiast before I'm anything is because I understand that this technology is really here to change the world in more ways than just finance. There's so many applications that you can apply blockchain to and take that trust element out and trust essentially code over human beings, which are prone to error, and actually innovate. So just like the motoring industry, just like any other industry, it's a technology that's here to change all our lives, and we'll be integrated into it in the same way we're talking over a computer. I'm talking on a microphone. I've got a light on that is electricity and that revolution, and so on and so forth. So at this stage, we judge it's likely that the digital pound will be needed in the future. It is too early to decide whether to introduce the digital pound, but we are convinced preparatory work is justified. So they're saying it's going to be needed. Now, there was a Bank of International Settlements article that came out and said there was about $80 trillion in dollar-denominated debt that they just didn't account for. That couldn't happen with a blockchain. So in terms of record keeping, it's very much needed. But actually, there's been lots of talks about a cyber threat. And I always get asked, well, if this happens, what does that mean for blockchain and crypto? It's the perfect solution for blockchain and crypto, because it's not like you're getting rid of electricity. The problem with banks and things like this is they can be hacked and they're not immutable. Okay? With a blockchain, thus far, you can't hack a blockchain. Well, you can hack certain blockchains, but something like Bitcoin, something like these strong, proven over time blockchains are unhackable. The protocols that are built on top of them with smart contracts are often the things that are hackable. The blockchain is essentially just a record keeping. So if you had a cyber attack, the coins would stay where they were unless you could hack people's wallets if they had them stored on somewhere. So it's actually a kind of cyber attack. The blockchain would actually be largely untouched as long as, there was somewhere where the ledger was kept accurately or multiple participants of it did that. So the digital pound would be a new form of sterling similar to digital banknotes issued by the Bank of England. We're one step away from that already, guys. It would be used by households and businesses for everyday payment needs. It would be used in store online to make payments to family and friends. If introduced, it would exist alongside and be easily exchangeable with cash and bank deposits. Of course, that's how it's going to start out. The digital pound would maintain public access to retail bank money, and as our lifestyles and the economy becomes ever more digital, it would also promote innovation, choice, and efficiency in domestic payments. During the consultation, HM Treasury and the Bank of England will engage extensively with stakeholders across the UK to seek views on proposed models of digital pounds set out. Responses to this consultation are invited from all interested members of the public, experts, and organisations. You can respond to this, guys, and put your concerns forwards. Whether it's worth doing or not, and it's going to change anything, I mean, it's really up to you to make that decision. I don't want to be pessimistic on it, but CBDCs are coming. It also says alongside a consultation paper, the Bank of England published a technology working paper outlining emerging thinking on CBDC technology. London was actually voted the #1 city in the world for crypto friendly, which is a good thing for investors like myself in the blockchain space and enthusiasts. And I really have a vested interest in seeing this technology succeed. But maybe these guys are one of the first, and they've certainly been working on it for a long time. I mean, we already know in the US that I think it's BY Mellon, JP Morgan, could be Wells Fargo, and a couple of other banks are actually already piloting a CBDC on an intrabank sort of level. So goes on to talk this article. It's 116 pages, guys. I'm going to leave a link to both of these in the description, so feel free to check them out yourself. I want to keep this video around about 10 minutes before I love and leave you. This is the context. It talks about the digital pound, the next step, new technologies and payment functionality. Of course, talking about blockchain, the need for a digital pound, and monetary and financial stability, models, so how they're planning on doing it, and a public-private partnership. So this is interesting. We have suggested that there's certain blockchains out there that it makes sense for governments to build on top of. We'll read the foreword, guys, and then I'm going to leave you to it. So, the foreword. The way we use money in the United Kingdom is changing, bringing fresh opportunities and new considerations for public policy. Banknotes issued by the Bank of England are being used less frequently by households and businesses. New technologies are allowing for the engagement or emergence of new forms of digital money. So they're talking about blockchain here, and new ways and devices to pay with it. International developments have the potential to affect the UK domestically and as a global leader in finance. So remember, they, just like the US, when they published that oversight on regulating crypto, they said they need to make sure that they maintain a kind of high stance or the leading role in technological innovations. So ensuring that public trust in money remains high, I don't think they quite, I think they're a bit out of touch there. And that our modern forms of money and payments meet the evolving needs of individuals and businesses are fundamental responsibilities of the government and the Bank of England. We are determined that the UK should remain at the forefront of innovation in money, payments, and financial services. This is part of the government's vision for a technological, advanced, sustainable, and open financial service sector that is globally competitive and acts in the interest of communities and citizens, creating jobs, supporting businesses, and powering growth across all four nations of the UK. A UK central bank digital currency, a digital pound, would be a new form of digital money for use by households and businesses for their everyday payment needs. As part of the wider landscapes of money and payments, it would sit alongside, not replace cash, a digital counterpart to familiar, trusted banknotes and coins. Subject to rigorous standards of privacy and data protection. We've seen these rigorous standards be ridiculed on many occasions. A digital pound would help to ensure that central bank money remains available and useful in an ever more digital economy, continuing to bolster UK monetary and financial stability while safeguarding the UK's monetary sovereignty in a changing global financial system. It could provide a platform for private sector innovation, promoting further choice, competition, efficiency, and innovation in payments. It could also have further benefits for the resilience and functionality of payments in the UK. On the basis of our work to date, the Bank of England and HMR Treasury judges that it is likely a digital pound will be needed in the future. It's too early to commit to building the infrastructure for one, but we are convinced that further proprietary work is justified. Any further digital pound would be a major piece of national infrastructure, which would likely take several years to complete. So we're a while off now. Its launch would require deep public trust in this new form of money, trust that their money would remain safe, accessible, and private. The journey towards issuing any digital pound, therefore necessary, involves an open national conversation about the future of our money, in parallel with detailed technical consideration by experts across the UK, public authorities, and informed by evolving market trends. This consultation, issued jointly by HM Treasuries and the Bank of England, opens that conversation and seeks to begin to build that foundation of public trust. It seeks feedback on the policy and technical work undertaken so far in order to inform a future decision on whether or not progress to building and launching a digital pound, and on our current proposal for its form and functions, which will be taken forward in the next stage. It commits us to progressing the next stage of technical and policy work needed to underpin such a decision. This paper is being issued alongside the technology working paper from the Bank of England, exploring the many technological challenges involved in a digital pound. In the coming 4 months consultation period, HM Treasury and the Bank of England will engage extensively across the UK to seek views on the potential digital pound. Responses to the consultation are invited, etc., etc. Of course, Jeremy Hunt, and then it goes on to talk about it. Guys, a digital pound is coming. It's essentially already here. What it means, I mean, there are going to be pros, there are going to be cons, just like with everything in life. But you guys can actually respond to this if you're in the UK with some of your thoughts and concerns, if that's something that you want to do. Just another step closer. It talks about cash on the decline and a number of other things. Puts the argument for it forwards. Technically, we actually are going to be looking at blockchains that we think are made for this. Are the Bank of England going to come up with their own blockchain, or are they going to look to deploy on a public blockchain that is already established that that they know they can trust and maybe have a side chain of, or a layer 1 built on a layer 0 model? We don't know what that's going to be yet. On that note, I'm going to love and leave you. It was just a quick reporting on this and what's sort of happening. Get familiar with this. Isn't it amazing time to be alive? Certainly, where we currently are, because how many of you guys have lived through a monetary revolution? And that's what you're seeing with blockchain. Very exciting time to be alive. There's going to be amazing opportunities to come out of it. There's also going to be some huge cons in terms of, maybe human rights and other things. But for another discussion, on that note, I'm going to love and leave you. If you enjoyed this content, like, so I'd appreciate it. So, a comment, and I'll catch you all in the next YouTube video. Thanks a lot for watching, guys.